A little backstory on this horse. This is a BLM Mustang who was actually in Mark Rashid's book, Finding the Missed Path. He has some trouble being caught. He's been roped to get caught. He's had a halter kept on, and you could catch him as long as you gave him the treat. And in the moment where you gave him the treat, you had to catch him there or he would run off. So he's never felt good about it. He was also a late gelded stallion, so you'll see in this video some of his ways of expressing himself when he's fearful are very stallion-like. And he's had a lot of control over how he's handled, while he's also been extremely nervous about being handled. So in this video, you'll see how I work on getting him feeling good about getting ready to get caught. So you can see that just me walking into the pasture has caused him a lot of anxiety. He's got some pretty stallion-like expressions with his neck and head. He'd like to move me out of the pasture, so he kind of charged me there. I'm just thinking about keeping his thoughts toward me, because he's alternating between being nervous about what's going on outside and being bothered that I'm here. So all I'm trying to do is keep his thoughts toward me to start with. So I keep stepping over to catch his attention again. And he's pretty bothered. And one thing that you'll notice in this video is that he's kind of wired backwards when it comes to moving off of pressure lines, and that's through a long history of blowing through and avoiding. So when I step behind him, and I'll talk about it when it happens, when I step behind him to move him right, he goes left. When I step behind him to move him left, he goes right. And so that's kind of an issue that I'm working through in this video. So for example, there, I'm working on drawing him in. And I really don't care if I catch him today. In fact, I'm pretty sure I won't. All I'm asking him to do is just think about getting caught in a different way. Because normally he's very sure that he can only be caught in one way, which is to either be roped or to be given a treat. And while he's eating the treat, then you can halter him. But when he's done with the treat, you're too late. So I'm just drawing him in. And really all I'm looking for here is that he draw in, give me some focus, and start to think about being a little more relaxed. And all of these stallion-like postures are just him saying, I'm extremely worried and I don't know how to control the situation. So I'm not adding more fuel to the fire. What I'm looking for here is that he face up and get a little more relaxed. And when he does that, that's when I'm going to retreat. So here is that first release, and then I'm going to walk away. So I'm going to step back in. You can see that he's bothered right away. I'm just blocking any advances he might make with aggression, but I recognize that his aggression is just fear, and I don't need to add more to it. Certainly I don't want him to stomp me or hurt me, but he's just trying to get control of the situation because he's always had some control of the situation. He's not sure how to deal with this, and he's in the phase of going between escaping and trying to get rid of me. So I'm standing in this place that he's uncomfortable with, where I'm right in front of him, and I would need to halter on the left side, and he's not real ready for me to be there. So what I'm looking for is for him to start to think about being comfortable with me just standing here. And when we get the lick and chew, that's when I'm going to walk away, but he's pretty bothered. He draws in, but it's definitely not with relaxation. And I'm just trying to find a spot where he can relax. Just a little bit to start. We're going to just build on all these little repetitions of getting comfortable. And he said, no, I couldn't do it. I had to leave. So it's no big deal. Just start over again. And there's kind of that stallion-y posturing. I'm just asking him to consider this positioning right here. I'm certainly not close enough to halter him, but it's a start. And he's struggling with it, so I stepped back a little, and he had to leave, which is okay because I can just start over again. And I just blocked him from coming forward there with my hand. It doesn't really take a whole lot more than that. I really don't need to do more than that because he's extremely bothered. I don't need to run him around. I don't need to add more worry to what's here. I like that curiosity. That's his most uncomfortable spot, is in the left. So normally what he does to get caught is he will put his neck to the right. He'll stick his neck out to the left and his nose to the right, so you can touch his shoulder, but you can't touch his face. And in handling this horse in general, he has a lot of rules about how you touch his face. He won't let you touch his ears. He won't let you touch his muzzle. All of these concerns he's had have led him to avoid an escape, and he hasn't been shown a way to feel good about those things, so he's just set, there's another release, and that's why I walk away. He's set a lot of rules about how he can be handled, and trying to change those things is really difficult because he's a little on the older side, and this has gone on for a long time. And there we have some slow blinks. He's starting to relax a little tiny bit, which is great. There's more slow blinking. So here I'm going again. And there comes that bother. He has more repetitions in his life, certainly, of being bothered than of being relaxed, so this isn't going to be any quick fix. I'm just asking him to reach out and touch me, and then I'll back off. And what I want him to know is that he's not going to be trapped at all in any of this. He has some choices, but I'd like to guide those choices to change some of the patterns. So I'm going to discourage some things, and I'm going to encourage some other things. I'm going to really try to encourage relaxation and curiosity. And you can especially see here how the wiring is backwards, where when I ask him to go one direction, he goes the other one. He's sort of used to turning around and giving his hind end in avoidance. There's a big breath out. I'm just asking for him to keep his attention with me. So see there, I would want him to turn to the right, and he goes left. And I'm asking him to turn one way or the other with my body positioning, and he interprets that to go the opposite way. So there, he should go right, and he went left. He's saying right now, I am so uncomfortable. This has always worked for me. I don't know why this isn't working. This is not how we do things. So I'm just kind of hanging in place. I'm not being moved, but I'm not going to chase him off. And I'm retreating there when he gets a little softer and thinks about doing things a different way. There's a lick and chew. So the more of these lick and chews, and there's another one, the more of these I can develop, and the more I can get him thinking about being relaxed, about being caught, then I can catch him anytime. I could probably catch him right away in the way he's used to, but that doesn't really do me any good if I always have to have these little workarounds. You know, what if there's a storm, or I have to evacuate, or the vet's coming and something's different and those workarounds aren't available to me? We're kind of in some trouble. So I want him to feel really good about being caught. So I've got the halter in my hand now just to get him thinking a little bit differently, because that adds a little bit of an extra layer. But again, I don't really care if I catch him or not. He's still searching for the escape routes that he knows, but I'm having a little bit better of a time drawing him. He's got a much more relaxed posture. He's not nearly as aggressive looking. So now I'm going to see if I can't draw him left, but then he goes right. So I'm hoping in the future that will get cleared up. And there I've drawn him left. And he's looking to escape to the right, so I'm going to block that. All I want is for him to just try different things. I don't need to chase him around, but I definitely do want to block off some of the routes he might think of taking. I really like that. It's this drawing into the left where I would need to halter that he says, no way, it's not going to happen. So I just want him to think differently about this whole experience. So now he's drawing in from a distance, which is nice, but when he gets up close, he says, nope, I have to leave. And so we just start over, and if I have to start over 10,000 times, I really don't mind. Because again, it's not catching him today, it's about getting him good to catch for the rest of his lifetime. So we have a much more relaxed posture. He's starting to think a little differently. I'd like to draw him in left. There we go. He's starting to get a little curious, a little more relaxed. If I take the time now, and though it might take me a while, if I take that time now, it'll take me much less time in the future. So the slow way really is the fast way, because if I have to do these workarounds to catch him every time, think of all the time I'm spending on something as simple as catching a horse. And this isn't about catching him, really, it's about getting him to think and to learn and to try and to process, and that's going to benefit me in every other area of his life when I work with him. Because if I experience some time where he's nervous or bothered and we aren't able to communicate like this, I'm in a lot of trouble. So it's really not about catching, it's about teaching him to learn. If things are always done to the horse and they've never learned how to be part of the process, how to relax, how to try, how to draw, we're in some big trouble when things aren't going perfectly. And that's looking really nice. I love the way his neck looks. There's some licking and chewing. So much more relaxed horse here. And he's really thinking about coming up to me. He just can't quite make that last little bit. I don't care if this takes all day or 10 weeks or 5 minutes. It really doesn't matter to me. He'll be ready when he's ready. If I've prepared him sufficiently, he'll feel good about getting caught. That's a much more relaxed posture. There he's breathing. He looks awesome. It's very exciting. He's starting to feel differently about this whole process, which is what my goal was. Again, it's that last little leap where he's not sure he can make it. He wants to draw. It's that last little piece. So here that wiring is starting to get fixed. See how I'm stepping to the left and he's making a right turn? That's new and exciting, because in the beginning he would go the opposite way, and that's going to be essential to my work in the future, that he understand that positioning, that he be able to draw and drive equally. And that's something every horse naturally has, but in poor interactions with people, they learn the wrong things. So if a person accidentally, repeatedly allows a horse to blow through pressure, they learn some unfortunate things, and that can be quite problematic. But these draw and drive lines are pretty natural. I've never met a horse who hasn't been worked with who doesn't immediately understand them, because that's how they operate with each other. There I am, pretty close to his left side. He's checking out his work there. I'm just asking him to draw in toward me. I'm walking along on his left side, which was hard. There we have a draw. And he couldn't stay. Every time he leaves, I really don't mind. It's just another opportunity for me to practice this some more. The more repetitions of this, the better. It's all good to me. And I want to turn him left, and that worked, whereas in the beginning it didn't, so that's great. He's breathing, he's blinking, he's much more relaxed than he started. And you'll notice that he stopped with his stallion-y confrontation stuff because he's not so worried anymore. I love that. I love his posture, I love his expression, his soft eyes. He just can't make that last leap. And draw him again. He's really a lot more curious than he was before. Well, that's wonderful. There I'm in his scary spot. He's reaching out for me. He stayed.